Art, you there, man?
Yes, I am.
You there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey, when you talk, use the handset, not your speaker or Bluetooth or anything. So like directly into your phone. Let's hear it.
Okay, let me open.
You know how you do? Just hold the phone up to your ear, just like you normally like on your phone. Go ahead. Let me hear you.
Yeah. How about this? Can you hear me?
Yeah. No speaker, just straight up. Hold it, old school. Okay. All right. So when we're ready, I'll come to you. Okay.
Okay, no problem.
Cool, man.
All right.
What up, y'all? Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
You got me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. I'll come to you in a few. Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 164. This is the G Podcast. Yes. Tanya B is here. Vi's at Mardi Gras, but sent his benediction, so I still have that. We're going to talk to Coach Art in just a few minutes. Got some questions. I'm fighting and battling on Twitter. I'm going to get to you in just a minute, Tanya B, because I know you want to jump in on this as well. And we got so much stuff to talk about, man. I'm just going to get right into it. Coach Art's on hold. 2023 is just shaping up to be a wild west kind of year. Syracuse Mike is going to give us some details on some of the stuff that's happening, and we'll talk about it in news, that, and a whole lot more. Tanya B's got the tea. Plus, this week I'm bringing back G and not a G. I'm actually I got enough. I've had enough every week, but it's just overflowing. So got to bring back a G and not a G. So we're going to do that definitely this week. So again, this is the G Podcast. Each week we do news, politics, pop culture. The piping hot tea from the one and only Tanya B is in the building. Tanya B, what's up?
What's up?
You know, Tanya B, we took off last week. Sorry about Philly, but it is what it is.
Wasn't there. It just wasn't their time. It just was not their time.
Jalen Hurts looks great. And quite frankly, he was, or the quarterbacks, the more skilled. He just made some errors that were critical errors. So I've got, we're gonna go to Coach Art in just a minute, but again, I just wanted to say, Philly, of course, in Philly style, turned over some cars.
Man,
and
that
burnt
was before the game. That was before the game started. But look, can I just say something about that
Yeah.
all of that foolishness? It was
Go ahead.
caught on a ring. It was caught on a ring cam. The
Yeah.
people that did the most damage didn't live there. And there was a older man that lived on the street here, a Temple alum, and the neighbors who were Temple students got together and they were going to get his car fixed. They raised over $12,000. He's actually getting a newer car. So
Okay, well, cool.
yeah.
Plus, Philly. I gotta get, these are the people who boo Santa Claus. Michael Irvin got hit. Michael Irvin got hit back in the day when he played with the Cowboys, and it was knocked out, paralyzed on the field. They booed him, booed Santa Claus. Shit. What can you expect? But this Super Bowl, they just outdid themselves. They booed Dak Prescott, and he was getting a humanitarian award.
No, you know what? That was pretty. I guess that was pretty greasy. That was pretty
When
greasy.
he walked out, he was getting the Walter Payton Award, and they booed his ass. I'm like, damn, what
That was
is up,
horrible.
Philly? I knew it was the
I
Philly
know.
people. Sorry,
And
but you
then
gotta love Philly, man.
And then they want to fight. If the script is flipped, then they want to fight, right?
That's what I'm
Mhm.
talking about. But I just wish we had that kind of passion. That's why I
Hmm.
bought Coach Art in the building. Coach Art is here. Coach Art, what's up, man?
Hey, man, I'm feeling real good. Excited to be with you
Look at
and
you, man.
your lovely host again. It's
Oh.
beautiful.
Yeah, well, good. Hey, I got to say this, Art, because I'm gonna have to preface this conversation. Now, Art and I grew up together, really, pretty much, practically in East Point. We grew up because when I was in high school, we went to the same high school. We actually on the streets. We would go out. We were playing ball in the streets at a lot of the same places. Were we not, Art?
That's it.
Greg Bush. The famous Greg Bush had a house. He had one of the best courts in the area, so we would use his house. And I played organized ball probably from 8 years old, 10 and under, all the way through high school into college. So ball has been my life. So this question, Art, I brought you on, Art, because I'm in Twitter battles daily with people about the Atlanta Hawks, and I know our reach goes out beyond Atlanta, a lot of folks in different cities, but I hope that I can get some feedback from people in other cities because they're wondering what's going on with the Atlanta Hawks too. And why do you think, Art, you and I had the conversation, Art, but I want you to really give us some concise answers, not your typical Coach Art, dissertation. But I need you to give, why do the Hawks still kind of wallow in mediocrity, man, after the Eastern Conference Finals a few years ago, man? Why do you think the Hawks are going into the All-Star break? Because tonight, as we tape, the All-Star game takes place, and we only had a rookie actually chosen. Why do you think we are in this position, Art?
We are in a very precarious position because our leadership, the ball club leadership, fails to address the specific needs of the team.
Okay. So
wait, what does a team need? What does the team need?
What does the team need?
Okay, the team has needed a defensive presence in the center. Let's just say a athletic, young, tough guy who wants to play defense.
Okay.
Because we're not respected defensively.
Okay.
We also needed a backup point guard to give Trey a breather.
So you got DJ Murray.
Well, yep. We got him.
Okay.
We got him. But what happens is you have, I believe that our opinion on John Collins is different. My thing is he's still a great player. He's just not motivated to play great.
Okay, Art, at that point, here's where I want to ask you. Here's where I want to go. What is the coach's purpose?
Well, I mean, the coach's purpose is to motivate and to instruct, but I'm not giving Coach McMillan a pass.
Mhm.
I'm not going to give him a pass. It's just that when the star of the team has a soured opinion about what's going on, I mean, we discussed it back when the team was strong 2 years ago. We discussed, that guy, Trae Young, would come out on the road at home and give us between 12 and 18-point cushion every night.
Okay.
He will come out and he has that ability to, so he's not actually dialed in to do that. He's not dialed in to do that.
Okay.
And
okay. Well, I'm gonna say this for the sake of the podcast, and for the sake of for the sake of time, I'm gonna say this. I believe that the Hawks' problem started in the Eastern Conference Finals when the referee stepped on Trae Young's foot. At that point, it has never corrected itself. When the Hawks came back, now we're talking about the beginning of not this season, but the beginning of last season, because it's been 2 years since the Eastern Conference Finals. So what I'm saying is at the beginning of last season, not the 2022 season, but the 2021 season, there was mediocrity right at the beginning.
Well,
let me say this. A lot of people feel that the problem is they made a mistake with the deal that bought DJ Murray here, and they got rid of all the folks like Herter, Gallinari, and quite frankly, Herter is not that much of a difference maker. Let's not even bring him into the freaking conversation. He's still, as a matter of fact, if you watch the All-Star game, he was in the 3-point competition and he was last. So my point is, it's like 2 years ago this started. So if you've got a coach coming off the Eastern Conference Finals, the very first season he's in, he fails. And now we're looking at half of another season. It's the same thing. It's time for the coach to go.
Okay.
And quite frankly, I'm going to say this, Art. It may be time for the general manager to go. Landry Fields, it might be time to blow up the front office. If I'm the Resler family.
Give me an opportunity.
Okay.
The problem persists prior to that.
Yeah.
When the Hawks had a semblance of a good team, they showed to be scrappy. Okay, that's when they needed the reinforcements.
Yeah.
Now, in my opinion, that's when ownership and the GM spent heavy money, a third of the team's money, on Gallinari, $21 million, Bogdanovich, $18.5, and Horter, $9 million. And none of those guys are a difference maker in the play. None of those guys can actually really log minutes in the playoffs.
And it amazes me, Art, because you hear people talking about, well, we miss Red Velvet and Bogey's our guy. And my point is, Herter was never much of a difference maker. Even if you look at the Eastern Conference Finals, when he was in the game, he was missing shots. And Bogey, it takes him, he comes in off the bench, he's got to shoot and miss. He's got to go 0 for 6 before he actually starts to hit anything. And that's not contributing, especially when you've got good teams or average teams that are doing 15-point runs on you. So I agree with you, Art, but I want to say this. I think a lot of what you're talking about is tactical. The strategy needs to be from ownership is leadership. I mean, you can change the parts as much as you want, but I think, honestly, if you change the parts and you keep this rotten head, then you're just going to keep getting the same results.
Well, let's look at this.
You could change. Look, you could bring in the best center in the league, but I think they will fail.
Well, we're not going to ever get the best center in the league.
Well, but I'm telling you. But what I'm saying to you is the coach.
Every time I talk to you, all we need is a young 6'10", 6'11" guy who's dedicated to play defense and is willing to man up with some of the beasts in the East.
All right, give me. Well, that's fine, but give me a name.
Oh, okay. Mo Bamba was a throwaway piece to the Lakers.
Okay.
And he's playing awesome besides Anthony Davis.
But I'm going to say this to you, Art. I'm going to say this because we got to move on to the next question. I think if you still continue to if you were to do just that, bring Mo Bamba here, I think the rotations are so bad with this coach that you're not going to get the results. You're still going to wind up in the same position. But I got to move on. I got to move on to the next question. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Sure
All
thing.
these quarterbacks up for grabs in the offseason. You got Lamar Jackson, who's not happy, even though he might get, and for those of you who are not into sports, there's a thing being thrown around called franchise tag. They haven't given him a deal, but he's under contract. So all the team has to do is tag him, and he gets whatever salary is under the tag, which is much more than what he's currently getting. Derek Carr was let go by Oakland, so he is in a position to go out and get some money. Aaron Rodgers is just plain fucking weird. I'm just tired
He's
for the
done.
weirdness.
He's done.
For the weirdness.
Eh,
Of it. You know, here's a guy who has to go on a 4-day, darkness retreat, which he'll come out of the retreat and have a decision on what he wants to do. Let me tell you, dude, your whole season was a darkness retreat. Okay, the whole last season was darkness. So you don't need a darkness retreat to tell me either you retire or you keep it moving. But my point is, all these quarterbacks. Then you've got two big ones coming out of the draft, C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young. So with that said,
we're not getting those guys. We're not getting C.J. or Bryce.
Okay.
Let me tell you what. I was shocked to see the level of push that the Falcons generated to go for Deshaun Watson.
Okay.
So that leads me to believe that should Lamar Jackson be available, that they would make a run at him.
Yeah.
Now, you know, Lamar Jackson instantly turns the franchise completely around. We do a 360.
Mm-hmm.
Our home tickets aren't getting given to the enemy. We reclaim the dome. You know, it's going to be fun time again.
Well, let me ask you this, Art. Let me ask you this,
Yes.
though. With the amount of money you give Lamar, can you fix the other problems? Can you fix the defense? Can you fix the O-line?
Okay. Well, you know, the ironic thing about the O-line, the problem with the O-line is the left tackle. So once you fix the left tackle and you get somebody who actually can go down and fight for you in the playoffs and handle some of those guys who will be coming at the quarterback, then you can start rolling out some of these guards. You know, with some money, a lot of these
Okay.
players would be available.
Okay.
Now, myself, out of the draft, a very feasible player to get who could literally come in and day one take this starting job was the young man from LSU.
Okay. Who's that?
Oh, gracious.
Oh, okay. What position? What position?
Quarterback.
Oh, quarterback. Okay. Well, let me ask you this.
He came from Arizona State.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, and I got to move on to the next question. Do you not have any faith in Ritter?
You know what? I'm not going to say I'm disappointed in Ritter because that's a heck of a task to learn. You know, the team didn't just fail because of Mariota. So you have play calling, you have a lot of other dynamics that set it out, you know, set us to the dogs.
Okay.
But, you know, I'm going to stay positive on Ritter and hope that he fulfills his obligation to the franchise and the people who have faith in him. But like I say, I still have a bad taste in my mouth in regards to the college game he had with Alabama.
Okay.
Cincinnati and Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to see the hearts, because that's every game in the pros is like that, with the heart and the gut, you know.
Okay.
And rally the team around. So like I say, I would be, because in all actuality, what Ritter looks like, if he was to continue at the incremental pace that he's going, he looks like a solid backup.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, that kid that took LSU from supposed to be nothing to the SEC championship game and would have challenged Georgia had he been healthy.
Yeah, but LSU imploded at the end of the season. But I get you.
Well, he was hurt, you know, in getting in being one of the only, you know, cogs on that team. But that's what type of quarterback feasibly you could get now. Hey, could they use their money in draft picks to get close to CJ or Bryce? Those guys are phenomenal quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I would take Bryce.
Yeah, let me tell you one thing that came up. One thing that came up, and folks are talking about the fact that Chicago has the number 1 pick. The Bears have the number 1 pick. I don't know if they'll do it. They've been denying they do it, but some people are saying that they'd be willing to give up that pick. Or either they would give up the pick, or they go ahead and pick a quarterback and trade Justin Fields.
Yeah, that sounds the whole thing with the Chicago thing. I take it with a grain of salt because, first of all, when you draft a young quarterback, you should do like the Eagles did and place some pieces, workable pieces around him. Mm-hmm. Instead, for the last 2 years, since they've drafted Justin Fields, all they did is discard their more costly players. Yeah. And, if you're in a rebuild, you can get Bryce Young. Yeah, but on the NFL level, if you don't have anything around Bryce Young, nothing's going to come of it.
Yeah, same as what Justin went through. Hey, one last question. Can we put to rest a lot of the questioning, man, of Pat Mahomes and Jalen Hurts after the Super Bowl, considering the phenomenal play, man?
Well, they earned that right before the game.
But I'm here to tell you, folks were questioning Patrick Mahomes, talking about Joe Burrow is better, is great. It was constantly, even though this guy has, quite frankly, he's on pace to beat Tom Brady's record in terms of number of Super Bowls, championships won. But my point is, it's like they question Patrick Mahomes, and they were putting Joe Burrow in as the heir apparent. So my question simply, and give me a minute because we got to go. Does the Super Bowl performance put that to rest?
No.
Okay.
Old media has its narratives, it has its affiliates, and they stick to the script. And if they want Joe Burrow, then they want Joe Burrow. All Patrick Mahomes needs to do is to continue to play lights out like he has.
Mm-hmm. What about Jalen? What about Jalen Hurts?
Jalen Hurts got the worst end of the stick because leading up to the game, you had several of old media saying that, he was just a caretaker.
Wow. Yeah.
This man had a fantastic, phenomenal season. Mm-hmm. When I say him, the offensive coordinator, the Eagles all together, they were really something, that they deserve to be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I agree.
And give or take a play or two or a call or two, they deserve to win the Super Bowl. So, old media is not going to elevate them any more than their next win.
I got you. Y'all give it up for Coach Art, man. Coach Art. I just had to, man, after the Super Bowl and everything we're going through, man, with the Hawks this season, I had to bring you in, brother. But we'll see, man. I think you got some good points. But I do have to ask you one more time before you leave. Should Nate go? Just yes or no? Yes or no? Don't give me the X's and O's. Yes or no?
Yes, but not for the reasons. Not for the reasons. Not for the reasons.
I love you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Again, Coach Art. Coach Art, man.
Woo. All right.
Appreciate you, bro. Take care.
Take care. Man. All right. Bye.
See what I'm talking about, Coach Art? Tanya B. He gonna try to slip in some X's and O's on me. I'm like, no, brother. Come on. Yeah, I hear you. All right, let's go ahead and do Syracuse Mike. We'll come back on the other end and we'll get into some tea. Here we go.
News team, assemble!
It's time for the Week in News with Syracuse Mike.
It was a Super Bowl that kept fans engaged for most of the game. Kansas City got their second Super Bowl win in 4 years, the final 38-35. They scored on every possession against Philadelphia in the second half. The MVP, KC quarterback Patrick Mahomes. President Joe Biden did not sit down with Fox for the annual Super Bowl interview. The interview was supposed to happen with Fox Soul, a Fox streaming sister network. There appeared to be some confusion in the days leading up to the interview. The White House is blaming Fox for canceling it. And everybody wanted to know what surprise Rihanna had for the crowd during her halftime performance. How about a baby bump? You can't top that. There's been a lot of speculation, and now it appears that South Carolina Senator Tim Scott is taking steps to seek the 2024 Republican presidential nomination. The Wall Street Journal is reporting the news according to anonymous sources familiar with his plans. Scott is 57 and the only black Republican in the U.S. Senate. In recent years, Scott has been one of the key people working with Democrats to try to come up with an agreement on police reform.
Another place that is supposed to be about community and togetherness shattered by bullets and bloodshed.
That's Michigan's Governor Gretchen Whitmer calling gun violence a uniquely American problem. Those comments after a gunman murdered 3 students in a mass shooting at Michigan State University Monday. 5 students were also wounded. The 43-year-old gunman took his own life and had no ties to the school.
The suspect was located by units that were assisting in looking for that suspect after the shootings.
Chris Rosman, the interim deputy police chief at Michigan State. The gunman was not a student or employee at the school, and authorities don't have a motive. In political news, via video, former UN ambassador and former South Carolina governor Nikki Haley announced that she is seeking the Republican nomination for president.
It's time for a new generation of leadership to rediscover fiscal responsibility.
Haley is the first candidate to officially challenge Donald Trump. In California, Senator Dianne Feinstein says she will not seek another term in 2024. She was first elected in 1992 and is the oldest member of Congress at age 89. White supremacist Peyton Gendron was sentenced to life without parole in Buffalo, New York for the mass shooting at the Top supermarket this past May. He pleaded guilty and also admitted in court that he targeted the victims because they were black and even tried to apologize. That didn't go over very well. 10 black people were killed. Simone Crawley lost her grandmother in the shooting.
We all know the pure hatred and motivations behind your heinous crime, and we are here to tell you that you failed.
Judge Susan Egan told the shooter there could be no mercy or second chances for his ignorant, evil ideology.
You will never see the light of day as a free man ever again.
It was an emotional hearing that was briefly disrupted when someone rushed at the shooter, who still faces separate federal hate crime charges. And Hollywood legend Raquel Welch has died following a brief illness. She was 82 and was considered a sex symbol. Playboy called her the most desired woman of the 1970s. Some parts of the Fulton County Special Grand Jury's report into possible criminal interference into Georgia's 2020 election have been released. The grand jury found by a unanimous vote that no widespread fraud took place in the Georgia 2020 election. They also looked into former President Trump's well-known call to Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger and into the meeting of false electors inside the state capitol. Before Thursday's limited release, it was revealed that the grand jury believes one or more witnesses perjured themselves. The document does not list who those witnesses are, but the grand jury did recommend that those witnesses be indicted if justified. After increasing pressure to say something, President Biden briefed the country Thursday about those objects recently shot down from the sky. He said that the objects shot down in the past week
were most likely balloons tied to private companies, recreation, or research institutions.
That means not China. However, the president also had this to say about that country.
I expect to be speaking with President Xi, and I hope we're going to get to the bottom of this.
The White House will have to brace for likely criticism that his orders to take down the recent objects were an overreaction, thanks to political pressure over the discovery of the suspected Chinese spy balloon that traveled across the country. 5 former Memphis police officers pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder and other charges following the January 7th violent arrest and death of Tyree Nichols. The former cops made their first court appearances with their lawyers before a judge Friday in Shelby County Criminal Court. All of them were fired after an internal police investigation. Nichols died in a hospital 3 days after his arrest. A Shreveport, Louisiana police officer was arrested and charged with negligent homicide after the death of an unarmed black man who was shot. Police were called to the scene of a domestic disturbance. Officer Alexander Tyler was taken into custody Thursday morning after authorities reviewed evidence and body camera footage of the February 3rd incident. The video has now been released. Louisiana State Police say Alonzo Bagley jumped from a rear balcony and fled on foot when they got to the scene. There was a short pursuit, and Tyler fired one shot, hitting Bagley in the chest. He died at a local hospital.
You know, I don't know if you've seen the video, Tanya B, but
I can't. It's too traumatizing. I haven't even seen Tyree Nichols. I have to change the channel, cover my face. It's who wants to look at something like that over and over and over again? I blame the press for that.
Well, I don't do it over and over, but I do the heavy lifting, so you don't have to. So I do that for the audience. I'm here for y'all.
Okay, audience.
So, I'm here for the followers. But let me say this: I didn't watch I watched most of it. At the end of it, after the cop shot the guy, he was so distraught. I mean, I'm talking about the cop. He knew he was wrong, and he was like, "Stay with me, man. Stay with He's like almost in tears, hoping that this guy wasn't going to die. Now,
was he distraught, or did he be like, "Oh snap"?
Well, you could
I
hear
just killed somebody.
A little bit of both in his voice. That damn, I just killed somebody. One, but
I'm
two,
gonna get it.
He knew he was wrong because here's the deal: when they froze the video, the guy had his hands up. He was surrendering. He had nothing. He had his hands up, and then he shot him. So that's another scenario. Also, let me tell y'all, man, this situation, and I said this to Rob when Rob was on Rob Redding on the show, that this situation in Memphis, y'all better invest in some plywood and nails, because if they don't do what's right when it comes down to this trial of these police officers, I don't know what's going to happen.
I'll tell you what's going to happen. It's going to be almost like Rodney King, George Floyd all over again. That's what's going to happen, because since Tyree was murdered, then here come two more cops that were there, shouldn't have been there. They are suspended. They're going to get fired. And then there was another murder in Memphis last night. So it's almost Memphis, Tennessee is almost like Georgia. Well, just a few hours away. Yeah. But I mean, it's just off the chain. And I don't know who the governor is, the mayor of Memphis. I hope you can sleep at night, but I'm telling you right now, this is a powder keg. It's a powder keg.
Well, I'm here to tell you that I can see that CJ, the police chief, they
didn't fire her yet.
But she's going to have to step down, because these guys, the problem I see with these cats, these former officers, is that there was a problem with supervision. And there was a problem. I mean, you could see basically in the video, there was a problem in training. So that goes back. And I know they're going to bring this out when the court case happens, that basically they were acting as they were trained to do. And I'm telling you, I don't see how she can survive this. I don't see how she can stay on as police chief with all this. So we'll see how that goes. The other thing, just a couple of quick things, man. This thing in Palestine, Ohio, and just kind of waiting, because I don't want to be part of the misinformation that's out there. But the train derailment with all these chemicals and animals, all the animals are dying. People aren't seeing birds.
The fish had died. The fish are dead. So what do you think is going to happen to the people? They already said that toxic chemical will give you like serious respiratory issues.
Yeah, FEMA didn't want to go in. And I think FEMA is going in.
They had no choice. They had to go in. They had to go in.
Yeah. So I'm going to wait and see.
They had to go into New Orleans. They didn't want to, but they had to go into New Orleans when Katrina came. Come on.
Yeah. That situation, it reminds me. It's almost like a cover-up, because the railway system, there's a ton of money that they actually invested or actually give to these political campaigns. So I don't think you're going to hear a lot of politicians stepping up and saying what needs to be said, because they're in the back pocket. So we'll see what comes out, who stands up for these folks, because this could really be a situation where in 10, 15 years, again, we're hearing these class action lawsuits.
Yeah.
I can already, I bet the attorneys, I don't want
to say cases. Ben Crump's already there. But you know what it sounds like? It sounds like it's going to be like an Aaron Brockovich situation. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
The cancer cluster. Yeah. It's going to be like that. And I mean, I've watched some of the stories, and one thing they were saying is now, for again, like you said, for these rail companies and these lobbyists and the politicians, it's all about money. They, and they have jeopardized the safety of anybody who, whose rail space they use. Because one thing that was said was they used to have 2 to 3 minutes to inspect. Now they have 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's already putting the public at risk. Yeah,
exactly.
Just a couple of quick things. We mentioned Raquel Welch, and I don't know why it's not coming up in conversation. Maybe because everybody hates him now, but the kiss or the embrace between Jim Brown and Raquel Welch was really groundbreaking.
Oh,
But
yeah.
back in the day, I guess because everybody hates Jim Brown, like everybody hates Chris.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Chris wasn't up there cooning. Wait. Hey, Chris wasn't up there cooning with Donald Trump. But go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. But it's interesting that because she was a part of a really barrier breaking. So the interesting thing. The other thing is Stella Stevens passed away. Which I don't know if you're gonna get into that in the tea, but she was the original. If you look at Eddie Murphy and Nutty Professor, she was the original Purdy. She was called Stella Purdy in this the one with Jerry Lewis. So and you mentioned it in our text. I mean, she was a cutie back in the day.
Oh no, she was a hottie. You had Raquel Welch, you had Stella Stevens, and for me, then the other one was I'm telling my age, I don't care. But there was also another woman that was like that, one of those Vegas bombshell actress, singer girls, Joey Heatherton. Right?
Yeah, I remember Joey Heatherton because Joey was in Laugh-In back in the day.
Yeah, and she was also always on those Dean Martin celebrity roasts, those Dean Martin specials and things like that. Yeah. So you had like this trio of hotties. It's almost like we would say they might have been somewhere along the line of, but not quite, like how we had our Lola Falana.
Yeah.
So they had Raquel and they had Stella and they had and Stella Stevens was also in some of the bigger, more popular Elvis Presley movies as well.
Yeah, she was. Absolutely. Yeah.
After Anne Margaret, she was the other Elvis female co-star.
Yeah, real quick. I didn't like the way Sonny Hostin compared Raquel Welch to Kim Kardashian. I thought that was disrespectful.
No, you know what? No,
I thought that was disrespectful.
You know what that was? That was the after effects of the anesthesia from her plastic surgery. So, girl, you go over there and sit down and fold the laundry. Fold the laundry if you know how to. Sonny, and now, Tommy B. She is not a G. Okay, she is not a G.
Not a G. Yeah, I agree.
You know what else we got to talk about? We got to give credit where credit is due. If anybody has ever watched Law and Order from back in the day, and I was telling a friend of mine, Richard Belzer, who we lost today. Belz was originally a comedian. He was the only white comedian I ever saw on Showtime at the Apollo that did not get booed.
Yeah, Belz was funny. He was funny as hell.
But it's like unless you knew, of Belz back then before Law and Order, you never knew about that part of his career. But it's interesting for a comedian to just really go so serious and go to the cop drama. And as much as Law and Order still comes on 99 times a day, he'll be missed. He did. I think that's what he's really I guess he's more well known for being on Law and Order than actually being a comedian.
Yeah, but that's what because he's what is it, Detective Monks or
Munch? I thought it was Munch.
Yeah. So rest in power, man. We lost a lot of people this week, last couple of weeks. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and do our break, and we'll come back. We'll come back and do the tea. We've got a lot of good tea. So
I got a lot
of good tea. Here we go. Let's take a break. We'll be back.
The Harold Michael Harvey Book Collection is a collection of books about civil rights in America, told through the eyes of people who envisioned it and fought for it in the days when hope unborn had died. And now is the time to step up your reading game with books that goes inside the issues. As the Negro National Anthem puts it, that with a steady beat has brought our weary feet to the place from which our fathers sighed. The Harold Michael Harvey Book Collection will prepare you for a meaningful discussion of Black history with an eye towards a Black future. The collection includes Justice in the Round, Freaknik Lawyer, The Duke of 18th and Vine, and My C.T. Vivian Story. Books are available at haroldmichaelharvey.com.
Now then, children, it's time for tea.
It's tea time, y'all. Sipping the tea with Tanya B.
What you got, Tanya B?
Okay, you know what's interesting? As we come off of a week of hip hop is 15, the big presentation of the Grammys and all that stuff. There's a lot of debate that's still going on. This did not happen back in the day, by the way. But if it did, I know about it. Just debate about these hip hop lyrics, because before it was about I'm the flyest guy, I got the best jewelry, I got the flyest girl, and now it's about something that's so far left. But the debate. Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm joking. But I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah.
But a lot of these rap lyrics that the feds are trying to use them in criminal prosecutions. And one thing I get it, but one thing that I think people need to really be made aware of is that a lot of these hip hop artists do not write their own lyrics. And there are some who do, but many of them don't. They just want to do what's flying hot at the moment, up to and including just, let's get some lyrics where people think I'm a G or I'm a gangster. And, because that's the image I think that they should have. And that's far from the case, even with Snoop Dogg, I mean, he was from the suburbs, like, in CB4, how the guy was playing like he was a hard gangster, but he was a suburban kid named Quentin or something or other. But anyway.
But because they didn't write it, does that give them a pass for performing it?
Well, no, I don't say that, but I just for me, this is just my opinion and nothing more.
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess this is the price of you wanting to be a G, It's just like people saying
a different kind of G though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I'm going to J a G, but try to say that, that
we are friends, G.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the jury is still out on that, no pun intended. But on the 23rd, which is just 4 days from now, ABC and Hulu and On Demand, there's going to be a documentary they're dropping called The Rap Trap Hip Hop on Trial. Now they talk to attorneys. It's like they're talking to Young Thug's baby mom, one of his other baby mamas, because one of his baby mamas got killed at the bowling alley. But you also have perspective from people like Fat Joe, Killer Mike, I guess. But after Killer Mike went to the other side, people really ain't checking for him right now. And then you've also got exactly. He I don't know who's Keisha, Lance Bottoms, come get your boy. And then
Bill Maher, come get your boy. But go ahead.
Somebody. Well, Brian Kemp, come get your boy. But anyway, and then music executive Kevin Liles, who's been embroiled in rap, controversy and things with lyrics going back to his days at Def Jam. And it's so funny because now they thought things like, Brenda's Got a Baby and Fight the Power were like, oh my God, there's going to be an uprising. It's far more like, and they even showed some of the lyrics. So I would just say, form your own opinion. But again, a lot of this is smoke and mirrors. And I think the mirrors are being taken down. And now these kids are being exposed to what they are, because there are more rappers in jail that are not going to get out. There's something I saw on social media. I'm like, man, some of them have been in there like, 1,700, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 days, and they're probably not going to, then it just gets stitched. What's it, snitches?
Snitches get stitches.
Or they usually probably get shot, but or shanked. So it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing that and just to see what the perspective is about that, because I think this will also have something to do with setting the precedent as they move forward, not just with this YSL situation, but there's somebody in Houston, there's somebody in New York, there's you have this situation out in California, and even in Miami.
Let me predict something. I predict that all this, especially depending on how the YSL case goes.
Yeah.
Hip hop's still selling. It's still, at the top in terms of sales, and it still has major impact on the culture in general. But if you remember, I was here back in the day in Atlanta when the whole, and you guys who listen to the show, if you're in the, into cases and law, the Tokars case, where
Fred
Tokars, when they, basically convicted him. They convicted a guy named Mason, and he owned all these clubs and had impact and his hands in the entertainment business. It had a significant impact on a lot of the club business, the scene. And what I'm asking basically is if Young Thug takes a hit, YSL, do you see that as like dominoes? Having a domino.
I think everybody's going to take a hit, because that is being held up as.
And I'm not talking about just like rap, but
I'm just saying, but the litmus test of this, I call it trap, crap, rap, whatever, and it even makes like NWA look like Boy Scouts compared to
Yeah, because the trap and drill. It's under the microscope right now.
But what's interesting? People talk about drill. Drill actually comes from the UK. Drill is nothing, and it's new over here. But anyway.
But it all, quite frankly, when you hear it, it all has. Because we're a global society. So it's all copycat. Because you remember Chief Keef out of Chicago, the whole movement. That vibe. That's in my opinion, that's drill.
But like you get him, Kodak Black, all of those those other numbskulls. Yeah, and
I wanted to bring that up because I think it's we'll see it's gonna have some impact.
But they all been there too, and I wouldn't be surprised if they return before but their gold teeth fall out. But
damn, okay, what you got next?
We're gonna talk about one of your favorite people, Check Chase and Ben Crump. Okay.
You better be nice to Ben.
No.
You better be nice to Ben. But go ahead.
What's he gonna do? Come take my lunch? There's what's interesting is the St. Thomas University in Miami. And I'm thinking, is this St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands? I don't know anything about this school. All I know is that they now have what is called the Benjamin L. Crump School. College of Law. And what's interesting about that is, everything that I saw earlier in the headlines was Will Smith gives, $10 million to Crump School of Law. And that is not true. And here is why. I know Will's doing whatever he can do to resurrect his career, but he shouldn't be taking credit because here are two other people. One you probably wouldn't expect who gave money as part of that 10 million. One is the Bishop T.D. Jakes, which I can understand that. But the other person that stepped up and came through, George Dr. Funkenstein, not Clinton, George Clinton pulled up. Okay.
Was he funky?
When is he not? Even though he's retiring.
That's my boy.
Yeah. So it's interesting.
Don't sit next to him on a plane though.
I sat next to his daughter in junior high, and then I did have to sit next to him in a studio. And baby, let me tell you something.
He believes in the funk. He is a perpetuator of the funk. This is
why Excedrin made the migraine headache pill. Okay. So anywho, so it's interesting that Will couldn't go to the Grammy. Hip Hop is 50 because of a schedule conflict because he's filming Bad Boys 4, but I guess it's being filmed in Miami. I don't know if I'm just guessing, and I say that because he showed up at the Crump School of Law and he was there for that photo op, and so I guess. But I think Bad Boys was filmed in Miami or some parts thereof. So
yeah, supposedly based. But what you got next?
Yeah, on the prayer list, we talked about Raquel Welch, Stella Stevens, and Bells. And there's also an actor, Tom Sizemore. I think he was in. I think we could save it. Yeah, he had an aneurysm. So I mean, he's really in the touch and go state right now, and he's just had a lot of trauma and just. You talk about a movie already, just about him and all of his issues, but we wish him well.
Let me tell you one, if you want to watch one of the best Tom Sizemore, but one of the best heist movies, watch Heat with Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer, Tom Sizemore. And he's in that movie.
He always plays these kind of wackadoodle characters. Yeah,
and he's part of the heist team. If you don't know who Tom Sizemore is, but
go watch that movie. Also, we got to go down to Lay People on the Altar at the 5,000 Black Baptist Churches of Atlanta. Actress Lisa Ray just lost her mother, and it's interesting, because she's so. And I know, losing a parent. I think we've all been through that. I have. Mm-hmm. But when I think about how just bitter and mean her mother was to her when they were on Iyanla, who could not fix their lives, her mother passed away. I think we talked about Trugoy the Dove, and that's just age 54 congestive heart failure. That's really, really young. Bruce Willis, who now has this, he's gonna have full blown dementia. So he's left the body work. Don't know how long he's gonna be with us. I gotta say, look, I'm mourning right now because Judge Mathis got canceled after how many years? 20 some odd years.
But Judge Mathis is gonna find a way.
No. Let me say this. Now, keep this in mind. He's got other things going. But remember, Judge Judy saw the handwriting on the wall. She got off of television and she went to Amazon Prime. And don't be surprised if you see Greg show up there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
But I think the person that needs the most prayer is JoJo Haley. Good God. Good God.
You sent me that video. I said, oh, man.
There was a video in 2011 of him passing out on stage. And, there's been a history of different types of abuses and addictions just in that family with him and his brother. But he's not that an old man by any stretch of the imagination, had his second stroke. And when Casey was performing, here comes JoJo, and you could tell he shouldn't have been out there. He just should not have been out there. He was not steady. He was trying to sing. And the more he tried to sing, they tried to take him off the stage. He was trying to go back. But I just really feel that he needs to really focus on physical and speech therapy before he can even think about singing again. And it's if you have a mild stroke, it's a journey back. I have a friend that had one, and it's been 10 years of her recovering, but he's had his second one. And if you remember, one of the Jodeci's last chances was last year when they went out on the culture tour with New Edition and Charlie Wilson. I said, if Charlie Wilson can't help you, I don't know who can.
Yeah.
So
what's amazing to me, that a lot of these 90s groups are suffering so much with health, but you look at a lot of these 70s groups and they still going strong. You know what I mean? With the exception of the members that may have passed.
Yeah.
But it's just amazing that, the 90s, you look at the Boyz II Men situation with one of the members, I forgot his name.
Yeah. Mike, but see, Mike has scoliosis, and he has MS too, and he didn't want to tell them that.
Yeah.
So
many situations. And
but then you got.
That was
that was an accident waiting to happen, but it's really. And then you look at Otis Williams, 80 plus years old, Smokey Robinson, 80 plus years old.
Yes.
Henry Fambro, the Spinners, still working, they're still making music, and these guys now they had a rough life.
Yes.
But these, but it's a shame, like these young guys, Ecstasy from Houdini, and just all these people that are dying.
All the rappers, I don't know if you mentioned, I don't know if we got a chance to mention De La Soul.
Yeah, True Boy.
You definitely mentioned him on the Birdwire. You played Me, Myself, and I.
Me, Myself, and I.
Yeah. So my point is, a lot of these 80s, 90s guys, we're losing them. I mean, we kind of.
That's true.
That's our generation. Man.
I mean, but wait, think about this. Now we had Curtis Blow on the show, and then he had to get a heart. He had a heart transplant.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, I saw Dr. Dre. When he was on stage at the Grammys, at the Grammy tribute to hip hop, he kicked it off. And he didn't kick it off, but he was on stage before they kicked it off.
He looked like he got kicked, but
he's getting older, man. It's like, he's an elder statesman. Dude is only like a year younger than I am. Yeah.
I don't even know if he's 60. I mean, Snoop looks better than Dr. Dre. Ice Cube looked better than Dr. Dre. Okay.
Yeah. But Dre got that money.
That's true.
Long money.
No way. Well, look, if money is the best Vaseline, he's not using it properly.
What else you got?
So I want to talk about Tyrese. I just say he needs to stay off social media and go get some serious therapy. And I don't mean going down to the church of John Gray and what's happening now, because he couldn't turn, the faucet on in my house. But Valentine's, this has been a rough week for Tyrese, because his mother passed away from COVID Valentine's Day, and then his label dropped him from the roster on Valentine's Day.
Is that such a bad thing, though? Considering he's still doing the Fast and Furious.
Well, no, I'm going to get to that. But
he's in the movie now, right?
But since his mom passed away, he's been really struggling, and he needs to stay off social media. And now, it's always somebody else's fault, not his, which just leads me to think he needs to do some self-reflection. Now he's been, he was dogging out this most recent wife, locking her and the kid out of the house and the whole 9 yards. And I guess he's channeling his pain through music, which is better than drugs and alcohol. I give him that. But he's got this song out with Lenny Kravitz called I Don't Think You Ever Loved Me, and it's about the ex-wife. And here's the thing, I'm like, what is Black Ty gonna do now? Because supposedly Fast and Furious 10 is supposed to be the end of the franchise. So I don't know what else he's gonna do, but he was acting so cuckoo back when they were doing the press junkets and the promotional tours. They didn't even use him.
Yeah.
So, he better be careful, because if they decide to do an 11, I think his character, might be going on to glory. That's all I got to say about that.
He's such an incredible talent. I was watching HBO, and Waist Deep came on, the movie where he was in with Megan Good. As he's done some really good movies.
I like Four Brothers. Remember Four Brothers?
Yeah, Four Brothers. He was excellent in.
Mm-hmm.
He's done such good work. He's got a great voice, but he just fucks it up. He's just ultimately he says some dumb shit. You always know that when he's on social media, something's gonna be said that's gonna piss a whole lot of people off.
just like he's an OG Chris Brown. But I'm gonna leave that alone. But I'm saying Tyrese, if you you doing too much, and I'm just counting the days until the 25-year-old figures out how to steal his money, and then she'll be gone. And speaking of that, well, let's talk about Don Lemon because I can't take much more of this. He's on the hot seat at CNN. His ratings are down. They've been laying people off and, moving him to the mornings. Maybe he's just not a morning person, but he's been flipping out on people, yelling, arguing, the real diva behavior, and even the sexist comments. And let me just say this. I am not a Nikki Haley fan, but when a man says something sexist about a woman, period, then I know I take exception to that. Yeah. And, it's almost like he's given them the rope to hang himself because they will kick him out the door. They have no qualms about that. They forgave him for twerking during the New Year's countdown. Then the time before that, when he got drunk on the air, it's like, don't you realize, he can't say they're firing me. He will get himself fired. So what he did was, I guess he called up Will Smith and said, yo, Will, can I come down to Miami for, the weekend? I got to chill out and get my chi back on. But he's probably down on South Beach or somewhere.
But you know what I heard?
Key West.
They're on CNN. CNN is introducing the 9 o'clock show. They're revamping it, and they're going to call it CNN Prime. And I guess each night is going to be a different theme. And he has a night on CNN Prime.
For now.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if that's a way for them to gradually maybe ease him out of the mornings, the same way, because you look at Chris Wallace only does one night, one day a week. The other thing, and this is crazy, bear with me on this because it's out there, that possibly CNN, because the morning ratings are so bad right now, is failing, that they are considering the GM3, the GMA3 duo as a possibility to replace everybody. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, yeah, but I'm hearing just because right now.
What's her name? What's his name? Amy Roebuck and
Tootsie Rollin' TJ. Yes, yes.
But somebody.
But you know what?
So I don't know if it's somebody out there advocating for them, but
there is because nobody will touch them.
People saying I would like. Basically, there are people who are really pushing the fact that they could possibly replace this current team. It's that bad.
They're still damaged goods. There was talk about them going to News Nation where Chris Cuomo went. Talk about News Nation interviewing them, and they can't because they have, they have the NDA.
NDA, yeah.
Again,
probably a non-compete.
In 6 months, no one's going to care about them, and will they come back? Nobody's going to care.
Yeah, I got you. Got anything else, Tanya B? Let's go ahead and do.
Just that Chris apologized. Don Lemon apologized, and I just say #apology too late.
I got you. Well, here we go.
What you watching this week, Tommy B?
Hey, you know what? And you can help me out with the next thing, but first I gotta give a really hands and kudos to the Woman King. Debuted at #1 on Netflix, just like it debuted #1 at the box office. So hats off to director Gina Prince Bythewood and Viola Davis and her amazing cast. And you know what? I gotta really say kudos to the Harlem season 2 folks, because they have done such a much better job with that character, Angie.
I think they listened.
You think they listened? You think they made an adjustment?
But they had to, because she's not as loud, she's not as much of a hoe. She got a job, but now Megan Good is a thought for the time being. But no, honestly,
yeah,
I believe it. Yeah,
the way it ended, the way the last, because next, not this week, but next week are the last 2 episodes, the season finale. But yeah, the way it ended, as we tape this week, yeah, you're right. and I don't know what's gonna happen to Quinn, man. Quinn is just.
Quinn's having a meltdown. Quinn is having, I think that's real time experience, because I know, being for the majority of the time in Georgia, that with these LGBTQ and trans children, that again, like her mother has basically shunned her. Her mother was not very kind.
Jasmine Guy.
I know, who was not aging well. I saw her at the gas station.
She looked. Hey, but you know what? Here's the deal. She looks a lot better in Harlem than she's looked in some of the other stuff. I'll say that.
Because it was a filter, but I know what I saw at the gas station, baby. But let me tell you something. No filter at the gas station on Ponce, okay? But the thing is,
Hey,
you know,
did I tell you I saw Oprah without makeup? But anyway.
well, no, Jasmine Guy had
and I've
had
seen
on makeup.
and I've seen Gladys Knight without makeup, so I'll leave it at that.
No, I seen Patty and Stephanie Miller no makeup. But anyway, you know, I get it. But no, what I want to say is about that is that you know,
I love them.
A lot of these children that go through what Quinn's going through, they end up having, you know, meltdowns, breakdowns. They become suicidal. So I think I applaud you know, them for shining a light on that. It's not as real. I mean, it is real, but I wonder how much deeper they're going to go on that. Then the other thing I also want to say about Harlem is that you know, I said Megan Good is the whole now. I mean, Tyler Lepley blew her back out so much. Her birth control device came out of the gold mine, y'all.
Fell in the couch crack.
Okay.
But anyway, I gotta say one other thing, and I hope this isn't like a spoiler, but Countess Vaughn, Mama, you know, from the Parkers is in this episode, and she is unrecognizable, man.
She is. No, I know she's had some health issues, and I'm thinking
because her voice is much deeper.
Yeah, it's. I think steroids will do that. Clearly, she has some respiratory issues, like maybe asthma. But the other thing is, you know, the steroids.
I love Countess Vaughn. I'm a huge fan because she could sing. The girl could sing.
You know, and if she had gone on to be a singer, I think things would have been different. But you know, she wanted to be an actress, but the thing about
were the rumors true? She was kind of a tough person to work with.
Well, I mean, she was a bratty kid when she was on 227. Come on.
Yeah, so true. One other thing, and because we got to move on. I got 90 seconds. Something else coming up. Also, Joie Lee is in it, which, you know, she's still, you could tell it's Joie Lee, without a doubt.
No, but she's aging better. She's aging better than Jasmine Guy is.
Yeah,
let's call a thing a thing. Yeah.
It was good to see Joie because she hadn't done anything. It's been a long time. She
didn't need to. She got a brother named what's his name? Spike.
You know, Spike ain't giving up no money.
I'm sure he's taking care of his sister.
You think Spike's giving up some money?
Spike Lee, Malcolm Lee, I don't know, Peggy Lee, somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody taking
between Spike and Malcolm.
Okay. But I think no, Joie is I do believe she's a very well respected acting coach. So if that's
good.
Her lane is, then you know that's where she is.
Very good.
She's a G. She's a G.
Cool. Well, speaking of that, here we go. And now it's time for
a G or not a G.
It seems Tyler Perry can do no wrong lately, y'all. The director, who's hated on for faulty wig use in movies, continues to be one of our top celebrity philanthropists. Perry is laying down plans to pay property taxes for 300 low-income senior citizens to help them overcome looming displacement. His $2.5 million donation will take care of city, county, and school taxes in the Atlanta area. This is on top of $750,000 he's already given to cover back taxes. He's also pledged another $500,000 to cover increased taxes over the next 20 years for 100 low-income seniors. I think we can forgive Mr. Perry for a bad wig or two, don't you think? Great job, Tyler Perry. Apparently, white men can jump. Kudos to Mac McClung on single-handedly saving the boring-ass NBA slam dunk competition. The former G-Leaguer was recently signed by the Philadelphia 76ers. Another big G goes out to American Sign Language interpreter Justina Miles for her incredible job during the Rihanna halftime performance. Who knew there was a sign for
like blah, blah, blah,
or not a G?
And now it's time for another episode of the Erase Your Race crew. First crew member is Nikki Haley, the former UN ambassador and the South Carolina governor who has always conveniently avoided race and denied racism existed. She's now conveniently positioning herself as America's first, wait for it, Asian American female president. Good luck with that, Nikki. You also ran South Carolina. Goodbye. Another member of Team Erase Your Race is Tim, American is not a racist country Scott. Not only is he one of the main reasons police reform won't pass in Congress, like Nikki Haley, he too is from South Carolina. Member number 3 of Team Erase Your Race is Idris Elba. Elba recently told Esquire magazine that he stopped referring to himself as a black actor once he realized it put him in a box. Here's a newsflash, Idris. That mirror and every director and casting person in Hollywood already has you in that box. Just a thought, brother. And you know what? That Jedi mind trick ain't gonna work. Plus, they've seen you in The Wire, man. Come on. And oh yeah, they saw you in Daddy's Little Girl, bro. Come on. And that's it for this week's
A G or not a G.
Yeah. Can't believe Idris, man. And you know what? I watched Beast right after I read that, and it was not a good experience.
No, is that like this his snooty British attitude? It's like, look, you look in the mirror.
You know, here's the thing, and you know, I don't know if it's a generational thing. You know, when it comes down, and I just say this, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, but you know, and I don't think it's you've got as people assimilate. Okay, he's basically, you know, Nigerian. I don't know if he's first generation, second generation, but I think some of the folks come over here and assimilate. He came from the UK into America, so he feels like he can, you know, say that. But I mean, ultimately, either the cops are going to put you in your place, something's going to happen to remind you that you black. So it's like, come on. I mean, we need to get away from that. But I can do a whole podcast on that.
Right. Tell them to ask Isaiah Washington. Remember Isaiah Washington?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely, dog. One more thing, just a couple of things that we'll close out. Chloe Bailey, of course, came under fire. And you mentioned Chris Brown for actually including Chris in the song on her new album that's coming out. Yeah. And she had, check this out, Tanya B, 30,000 quoted tweets expressing their displeasure. Her fan base.
Oh yeah.
So her fans are not happy.
Hey, the name of the song is "How Does It Feel?" You should ask her how it feels now.
Yeah, they lit her up on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Twitter was like killing it.
Beyonce is mad. Beyonce mad.
Yeah, I can imagine. The other thing, real quick, I gotta say thanks to Channel 2 has really done a great job with their Black History
that's
month
my news
vignettes.
Yeah.
And of course they're the oldest TV station in Atlanta. They have a lot of the footage.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm sitting there watching Channel 2 and the Black History stories that they have, and they did a story on how Margaret Mitchell gave to Morehouse. You know, she wrote Gone with the Wind.
Yeah,
but you know, this is what freaked me out. The story was about Georgia's first Black pediatrician, Dr. Otis Smith. That was my doctor.
Really?
Yes.
So don't you think?
He passed away.
History. I know, but you're part of history, dude. You're part of history.
Yeah, he's passed away, but I remember, you know, his office. I grew up, you know, West Atlanta, North Avenue, Baker Road, Westlake. His office was, you know, over on Westlake. Shout out to my folks who know Westlake, North Avenue, Baker Road, all that. He was a great doctor, man. He was friendly. The only thing I didn't like was if you had a cough or cold, he's gonna give you a shot. I hated it because it's
shot or whatever.
No, he was like he come in with the lollipop, like give it to you, and behind, pow.
Ooh, pow.
But man, it was really good to see the footage, the video that included him, because he touched so many lives. You know, from Morehouse, he was, you know, again, he was a Morehouse man. Not to mention, again, he was Georgia's first Black pediatrician. So shout out to his family, Dr. Otis W. Smith, man, phenomenal guy. Hey, let's before that, you got any shout outs? Anything last minute?
No,
we do benediction.
I just want to
any leftovers.
No, just shout out to everybody in National Harbor, Maryland. I don't know if I told you, I'll be going there the second week in March to be honored for something I've been doing with you for a very long time, and that's just talking smack and spilling the tea.
Wow. Well, go ahead then. Woo-hoo. Talking smack and spilling the tea. Good stuff. Well, you know, it's always fun. We do this every week, man.
No, but you know what? No. Yeah. It started, let me say this, and in all seriousness, it started with you.
Wow. Okay.
It started with you. So thank you for that. I hope I've made you proud.
It's fun. It's fun. Many more to come.
Thank you.
All right, let's you know, he's at Mardi Gras, but he managed to give me, of course, his inspiration. So let's go ahead and do it. Here we go.
I'm here to preach to you today.
Here's your inspirational moment with Vi.
Have you ever said, I can't think of anything God has done for me? How can I praise him? Here are two reasons for praising God: his great love toward us and his faithfulness that endures forever. If he did nothing else for us, he would still be worthy of our high praises. Psalm chapter 112, verse 2. Because God's faithful love toward us is strong, the Lord's faithfulness lasts forever. Praise the Lord. All it's saying is the moment you wake up and breathe air, you should be thankful because God is with you. That should be more than enough that he gave you another day. So amen, people. Amen.
Amen, Vi.
All
But
right,
he's Vi is at Mardi Gras, right?
Yeah,
what are those acoustic sounds?
I'm not something like that.
Wait a minute.
The bar on Bourbon Street where he is sinning as I'm not gonna say.
I think he's in Mobile. Joe Kane Day. So shout out to my folks, the Smurfs, my folks in Mobile. I was supposed to go, but I got stuff to do here. So I appreciate you, Vi. Thank you, man. we didn't mean to disparage
you, old sinner. You heathen.
Thank you so much, Vi. And y'all, by the way, do us a favor because I have not really been a big YouTube pusher. I'm not really into YouTube, but I know there are people who may watch us. Go to YouTube and subscribe. Just go there, hit the bell, and just subscribe. Just follow. Just go to YouTube. This is the G Podcast. Our link is also, if you're looking for where to get it on social media, our links on the castropolis.net page. But just go to YouTube and subscribe. That's all I ask. Okay, just go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell, and follow us on YouTube because I have not really been talking about that YouTube page, and it's sitting there all lonely. You know what I'm saying? It's lonely. I'm
gonna go there tonight. And Howard, if you want a recipe, Howard, you better go there. KW, we need you to step up and bring your friends, your cousin Peanut and them, and go subscribe. And
please,
okay.
Won't you come? Won't you come?
And maybe I'll even go up there. What if I go up there and do what if I go up there and do a couple of minutes of tea, Tommy B? Would that help?
That would help. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. Do your thing. Hey, but tonight, shout out to All-Star Weekend has been really good. With the exception of it's in Utah, but tonight 8:00 as we tape. We tape on Sundays. Team Giannis versus Team LeBron, and I got to really take my hats off to the NBA. They've done a really good job this year. It's funny, man. The commentators, shout out to the TNT team. They've really done a great job. So kudos. All right, y'all. Tanya B again. Thank you so much. Vi, man, shout out to you. Come out the bathroom doing the benediction. Don't be doing the benediction in the bathroom stall. That ain't sexy, bro. But but with that being said, episode 164 is in the can, y'all. Thank you so much. Peace, power to the people. Stay vigilant, and we will talk to you next week. We'll see you.
It's in the can, and so is Vi. Okay.
Peace. Crazy.
But I'm a lot of fun.
There you go. See you later.
All right. Later.